are Marvel Live at San Diego Comic-Con 2015, brought to you by Marvel Future Fight by Netmarble. I am Marvel.com editor Marc who has now done this intro once before, so this one went much better. And I am joined by...
Chris Burnham.
And of course, Chris, you are writing, or co-writing with Dennis Culver, E is for Extinction.
Yes.
How's that going?
It's awesome. We're all done writing it. Ramon Villalobos is, I think he's starting the fourth issue right now, so we're way ahead of schedule, looking real good. It's been fantastic.
Now, what interested you in revisiting the days of, because this, for everyone who doesn't know, is sort of the section of Battle World that is based on Grant Morrison's new X-Men run from, oh Lord, like 14 years ago. I feel old now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But what interested you in revisiting that stuff?
I mean, those are, to me, some of the best X-Men comics that have been made since the Claremont Byrne run.
Right.
And yeah, I just love them. Mike Martz and Katie Kubert asked me if I would be interested in working on it, and I said yes. Like, I didn't even have a chance to think about it. X-Men, yes. Yeah, I'm in.
And I know you collaborate with Grant a lot for our distinguished competition and on Nameless at Image.
Yeah.
So did you chat with him at all ahead of time before you started writing?
Yeah, I told him I was doing it, and I told him a couple of the weird ideas I was thinking of, none of which I think made it into the book. I think they just didn't make sense. But
what were some of them?
Well, my initial idea for the book was just thinking about what are the X-Men issues of today, like who are the outsiders of today, and so I was thinking about having Beast's secondary mutation, how it was slowly turning him into a feline, and he's just feeling more and more uncomfortable in his own skin, and like, why don't my hands work right? Like, why isn't my body like matching up with what my brain is like?
He suddenly starts coughing up hairballs and feeling the urge to take naps all day long.
Right. I was gonna have him straight up turn into a woman, and like, so he's miserable for the whole series, and he looks in the mirror one day and he's just a full-on woman, and he goes, "Oh, thank God," and like his problem has been solved, and that just as a story on its own, I think that would have been pretty good, but as a side plot to a bigger thing, it would have seemed a little trashy to me. So we ended up losing that entirely.
Oh, okay.
But I could picture it in my head, and I really like it.
So when you were pitching some of these ideas to Grant, like, what was his response to them?
He was very enthusiastic. He absolutely gave me his blessing for it. I'm not sure if he's ever going to read it. I'm not sure if I want him to. But yeah, he's all for it. It's pretty neat.
All right. Just checking the Twitter, see if we got anything in yet. Not quite yet. So now you normally are an artist. Like, I think you're probably, well, most certainly most well known for your art.
Right.
But you do, I remember you wrote an issue of something again over at those guys over there.
Yeah.
So what to you is the difference between, well, I mean, obviously there's a big difference between writing and drawing, but what are the similarities? Because it all is storytelling in the end, right?
Yeah, for sure. So when I'm writing, I'm trying to think of what is going to look the coolest, because I know even if it's not me drawing it, someone's going to have to draw this thing, and I know how long it takes. And so I'd rather them be having fun and get to draw something cool rather than a bunch of scenes of people just, sitting down and talking. Which, I mean, writers love that stuff because they get to, I'm trying to figure out how to put this in a PG podcast. They get to pleasure themselves with their fingers, writing fancy dialogue. But for an artist, that could be a real drag. So I'm always trying to think visually, think of something really that's going to look cool, and then give in this case Ramon just like you're free reign to just go for it.
Yeah, very cool. All right, just check it again. We just got one comment in from @Symmetry7. You guys should create a theme park, rides and all. I will help you design it. That kind of sounds awesome.
I'm in.
Wait, what? Here's the question. If you could design a Marvel ride, what would it be like?
Man, I mean, I guess I don't have a good answer for you. I mean, my favorite ride was always the Zipper, which was kind of like a hot dog shaped Ferris wheel, and all the carts spin pretty freely, and so you're going around it as the thing is spinning, and then the carts themselves are spinning. So you're like triple spinning, and if you can get the rotation right, you can just be constantly spinning your cart if you're both like if you get like two 12-year-olds in it, and who are light enough, like now that I weigh 200 pounds or whatever, it'll probably be tough to get that thing going. But when you're a kid, you can get these things really whipping around. So,
I'm not gonna lie, that sounds terrifying to me.
It's terrifying. So that's the cannonball ride. Why not?
Yeah. Sure, that works.
Yeah.
What else we got going on in here? It's Thor Night Tonight. All right, we got it on there.
This is fascinating material right here.
No, but all right, here's a question.
Yeah.
If you could draw any Marvel book, not
Yeah.
just write, but draw, what would it be?
It would absolutely be the Fantastic Four.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love the FF. So many good runs over the years. I've read most of them, I would say, and yeah, just so many awesome characters and situations and locations to draw. Like, I would absolutely love to do it.
Would you want to like do any redesigns on them, or would you just stick with like the classic Kirby look?
I think I'd probably stick as close to classic as I could. Although, I mean, I really like the John Byrne like reverse costumes, which that's not really what the negative version of the original costumes would look like, but I do like the look a lot. The white gloves and the black outfits. And rather than having them black with like a blue highlight, I think I'd just make them like stark black. I think that would look really cool.
Very cool. All right, we got one comment in from Tim Seeley.
Oh,
he's
good Lord.
Idris Elba to me. I don't know what that means.
I don't know
Tim.
what that means. I'm not sure what that means.
All right. So yeah, I mean, have you been keeping up with like the Marvel movies at all or anything?
Yeah. I haven't seen Avengers yet. I just deadlines are so killer. I could just never make it out of the house in time to see that thing. I guess I'll catch it on digital versatile disc.
You're telling me that that getting paid so that you can eat is more important than seeing Avengers?
Yes, for sure. But yeah, I've seen all the rest of them. Dynamite. I think my favorite is Winter Soldier. I thought that was just super spectacular and had some surprisingly political things to say that I thought was pretty interesting. And apparently, it wasn't even a response to the Edward Snowden stuff. It was just
it was all written before that.
Yeah, amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then that happened, and we're all like, great, this makes our movie so much more topical.
Yeah, it really seemed like, almost in the same way that the Dark Knight movie, if I could say that out loud, really seemed like a comment on the times, like so did Winter Soldier. I thought it was, big exciting beat 'em ups, and then with some sort of interesting message maybe. I thought it was great.
Very cool. All right, well, we're getting the hand motion to wrap you up, so stay tuned. We will be playing footage from the all-new, all-different Avengers panel right after this. Thank you, Chris, for joining us. We'll be back soon. This is Marvel, your universe.